Ever feel like like you're just totally bogged down, like carrying all this weight around with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or
like,
really?
ooh, And that's kind of what makes this whole deep dive we're doing today so interesting.
Yeah.
We're looking at some teachings from a 2024 Brahma Kumaris meeting,
Okay.
and they have some really different ways of looking at breaking free from all that heavy stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think what's interesting about their approach is that they emphasize happiness, not just as like an end goal,
Right.
but almost as like the vehicle that gets you there.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Like happiness as a path
Yeah,
instead of like a destination.
exactly.
Okay.
It's not just about like arriving at happiness.
Yeah.
It's about how do you use that sense of happiness to keep moving forward on your journey.
They actually say when you remain constantly happy, the pilgrimage of remembrance becomes easy.
Right.
So it's like not even just achieving happiness, but like using it
Yeah.
as a tool for like spiritual growth and stuff.
Right. Absolutely. And that's a really common idea that resonates across a lot of spiritual traditions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, think about just the power of mindset
Right.
in general. Like having a really positive outlook can be so helpful for anything that you're trying to do.
Right. Like laying a strong foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But then they get into this whole remembrance thing.
Yeah.
Which gets kind of deep.
It does get very deep.
They're talking about it like leading to purity and all these positive qualities,
Mm-hmm.
but over like multiple lifetimes.
Right. And this is where their beliefs about karma and reincarnation really come into play.
Okay.
So essentially, they believe that our actions in this life have an impact on our future lives.
Yeah.
And that part of this journey involves remembering our true spiritual essence.
So when they say remembrance,
Yeah.
what does that actually mean? Like, are we talking about literally remembering past lives?
So it can be, but it's more about remembering your inherent goodness,
Okay.
your inner light. Like it's a continuous process of self-discovery and purification that unfolds over many lifetimes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of like peeling back layers to get to your core self.
Okay, so it's less about like specific memories
Yeah.
and more about like
Yeah.
like a deeper,
It's awareness.
deep inner knowing.
Okay. I think I'm starting to get that.
Yeah.
But then there's this part where they talk about natural calamities and scientific inventions being our best servants
Yes.
for cleansing.
It's a bold statement for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, is it just me, or does that seem a little bit at odds with the whole be happy all the time thing?
It definitely makes you think, but I think if you look deeper, it's likely about the cyclical nature of things.
Okay.
Destruction and renewal.
Yeah.
Lots of philosophies talk about this pattern.
Right, like forest fires.
Exactly.
Like they're destructive, but then they
Make
aren't.
way for new growth.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. It's a powerful metaphor
Yeah.
for how even really, really challenging events can result in positive change. Wow. It's like they're saying that even calamities can be opportunities for growth
Yeah.
and like cleansing and stuff.
Absolutely, both personally and on a larger scale.
Huh. That's really interesting.
And they take this idea of freedom even further with this really striking image of a parrot escaping its cage.
Okay.
They're talking about breaking free from all kinds of bondage,
Mm-hmm.
especially what they call the bondage of your mind.
Oh, now that I think we can all relate to.
Absolutely.
Like, who doesn't want to feel freer?
Right.
Less burdened by stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do they suggest we go about doing that?
Well, they place a lot of emphasis on a concept called manmanavhav,
Okay.
which means focusing on your essence as like a point of light,
Mm.
a pure soul.
Okay.
So it's about detaching not necessarily from your family or your possessions,
Right.
but from the attachment itself.
So not necessarily giving up everything.
Yeah.
But just like changing your relationship to things.
Right, exactly. Think of it like mindfulness. You know, you're still experiencing life, you're still present,
Right.
but you're not letting all of those desires and worries control you.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Especially because later on they contrast a burdened householder with a free trustee,
Yeah.
which, to be honest, sounds kind of harsh.
It did stand out to me too.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's about literally abandoning your family or like shirking your responsibilities.
Huh?
It's more about this inner shift in perspective.
Okay.
Like you should focus on service and detachment rather than getting really caught up in material concerns.
So it's like finding that freedom within your existing roles.
Exactly.
By like changing your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Already-
And then they wrap up with this really practical yet kind of cryptic advice,
Okay.
which is Make sadness your servant. Do not allow it to appear on your face.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Right.
Like, how do you just decide not to be sad?
Exactly.
Is that even healthy?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about suppressing your emotions, but rather about managing your reactions to them.
Okay.
Like, don't let those negative feelings completely dictate how you are and how you move through the world.
It's like cultivating that inner peace,
Yeah.
which I feel like a lot of people are searching for.
Absolutely. It's a universal human aspiration for sure.
Wow, we covered some really interesting ideas today.
We did.
Happiness as a path, the power of remembrance,
It's a lot to think about.
even finding like freedom and liberation through challenges. It's a lot.
It is.
You've given me a lot to think about.
My pleasure. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Absolutely. And for you listening, here's a final thought to ponder. What if, instead of fearing change or difficulty, we took a cue from the Brahma Kumaris and saw those things as opportunities for growth and cleansing? It's definitely a different way of looking at things, but maybe there's some wisdom in examining what truly binds us and seeking liberation in unexpected places.